Anyway, I'm going to stop there because y'all are kind of a younger audience, so I had some fire and meat, but trying to tone it down a little bit. What questions can I ask? In the house, is it the House of Pain or the Den of Pain?
Den of Pain.
Den of
Welcome
Pain.
to the Den of Pain.
Den of Pain. So come on, who wants the first one up? Okay, Clemson.
My name's Scott. I'm in 9th grade. When I go to college, I plan to go into computer science.
Okay.
And my question is, explain how important it is to you to be known as a conservative reformer.
Very important. We're having a big issue right now in the Republican Party. How freely can I speak in here, Ms. May?
As freely as you would like. It's a political science class.
Okay, all right. So these are going to be acronyms, okay? So I don't want to. I mean, there's going to probably be some laughing, but just let me explain the acronym before you start laughing. In the Republican Party right now, especially in this state, we're having a kind of an internal civil war, if you will. There are Republicans in name only. We call them rhinos, right? Well, there's also what I call dicks in the Republican Party. Democrats in the closet. And I know that's politically incorrect, but that's my middle name. The point is this. A Republican's philosophy is very simple. Lower taxes, less government, private solutions to some of our problems. You know, individual responsibility, and at our heart, when we win the best, is we support causes of freedom. So the reason why it's important to be a conservative reformer is just because you have an R by your name means nothing. You have to actively fight for that. And there are some people in the House of Representatives, for instance. There's 124 members. 76 are what we call Republicans. Out of those 76, there may be 10 to 20 who are actually actively reforming government. But outside of that, they vote for liberal judges. They vote for tax increases. They vote for government programs. Let me give you an example. Y'all are members of the House of Representatives, and I want to know how many people in this room would vote for these two items. These were budget vetoes in 2008. Okay, Governor Sanford vetoed these budgets. These were overturned, which means the legislature funded them. Myself, Representative Valentine, who I'm sure spoke to this class, Representative Norman, Representative Haley, now Governor Haley, and 2 other people voted against these. But that's it. The rest of the legislature, your legislature, voted for this. How many people in this room would give South Carolina State University $3.5 million to study obesity? How many people would do that? Okay, one, that's fair, and I respect that. My argument was twofold. One, I think we know what causes obesity, but that's my opinion. But 2, if we're going to fund that, that should be funded at the Medical University of South Carolina, not, Coker College or SC State or Coastal Carolina. Well, anyway, only 7 of us stood up and said, no, that's ridiculous. Well, it got funded. How many people in this room would give $250,000 of the taxpayers' money to a pottery class at Piedmont Technical College? Your legislature did it. Okay, and I know. Welcome to government. It's government, they like to say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. I would say the definition of insane government is doing the same thing over and over again. Great question. Next question.
I'm Chris.
Chris?
I'm in 11th grade.
Okay.
I'm still not sure what I'm doing after college.
That's okay. That's good.
We've heard you're committed to conservatism. Who are your conservative role models in the General Assembly, and how do you all function as group of allies?
That's a great question. Because we're smaller in number, instead of catching the balls, we throw the bombs. And we have to raise awareness about the issue. Because we're outnumbered, we're outgunned. So, you try to take as many down with you through attrition. And you have to take very, very hard popular stands where your friends that sit right beside you may not like. I'll give you an example in this county. 2 weeks ago, I voted against the Amazon tax deal. And I had some good friends from the Lexington County delegation, some good friends, who got up and made the speech, and they were passionate about it. and they were emotional about it. Well, I got up and I spoke against them, not personally, but against their issue. And there were some hard feelings afterwards. But you have to be true to your own person, regardless of the consequences. If you're not prepared to go in and vote, knowing that that vote could cost you your reelection, you have no business being there at all. And that's a gut check. And so what you try to do is you try to be loyal to your policy positions, regardless of the consequences. And you know, sometimes you may be the only person on that board with all the green, and you may get jeered at, but you're not going to go wrong for the people that sent you there if you do what's right to yourself. I tell people all the time that in my district that they gave me a 2-year contract, and for that 2 years, I'm the CEO of my house district. They can fire me in the next, when my contract comes up. I listen to them, I take their opinions seriously, but oftentimes I tell them no. I have a big retirement community in my district, and they love cigarette taxes. They love them. They just, let's smoke them out by raising taxes. I have to go to town halls and say no. And I'm not popular, but they know where I stand before I'm going to vote. And it's a lot easier than, you know, trying to waffle. Great question. Come on, Miami. You want to get in here? Come on.
I got a question.
Okay. I'm glad y'all are asking such easy questions. I heard that y'all are tough, but I'm not feeling it. Come on. I know y'all Googled me, and y'all any question you can ask, any question. I'm an open book. Any questions on the table, so don't feel like you're hitting around. Throw the heat. Throw the heat.
You're a big supporter of school choice. What is your most compelling argument for it? What is the most compelling argument that the opponents of school choice use against you?
That is a great question. Great question. Miami touchdown. I'm not going to get. I may give you the PAT. I haven't decided yet. Here's the deal. There are great school districts in this state. This is one of them. Horry County is one school district. I think Lexington is 5, I believe. If it was just about the great school districts, we would not be having this discussion. The problem is, with our statistics in South Carolina are just not wrong and sad. They're absolutely immoral to the children of this state. The facts are staggering. Almost two out of every 4 kids that start high school in this state, freshman year, do not graduate within 4 years. I mean, that is a horrible, horrible statistic. Our SAT scores, ACT scores, lowest in the nation. Our reading proficiency, math and science, one of the lowest in the nation. Moreover, though, we're the upper tier in spending on education. So what's that telling you? In my opinion, that's telling me that we're funding a lot of education bureaucrats in offices to push papers. Where the money needs to go in the school district funding formula is to Mrs. Payne, her classrooms, the classrooms. She's on the front line. The problem is it gets bottled up at the top. I mean, there are people that in your school district, in my school district, I don't know what they do. They have a fancy title. It's like a 6-syllable title. They're getting paid like $120,000 a year. There's some of our reserve funding balances, which means it's like the reserve fund. Horry County has $50 million in their reserve fund. It's one of the highest in the state. But they don't have a problem raising taxes on people. So I think private school choice can be competitive with the public schools. And that's important because competition in our society is great. And let me give you an example. After World War II, Congress rightfully passed the GI Bill. And what that basically said was, since you served our nation in World War II, if you can get into college, we're going to give you a loan because you're a military veteran, guaranteed. That's a pretty good deal. They did not put in that, but if you live in South Carolina and you went to World War II,